The first time that I thought Brian was gonna kill me, he laid me on the bed, he sat on my chest, and I remember trying to scream because my baby 1-year-old was standing right next to me, yelling for his mom. And it broke my heart because I never wanted my son to see anything like that. I was 13 years old when I met my son's father. We dated for 8 years. I was happy, and then slowly he became a person I didn't understand or know. The relationship started off okay, and then when I wanted to break up with him, he decided he was gonna blackmail me with some nude pictures that I had sent. So I kind of just got locked into the relationship. He was so controlling. Anything I wore, anyone I spoke to, like, he was involved. I wasn't allowed to have just friends as, like, a teenager through high school. I wasn't allowed to have that. I've struggled a lot with mental health, and I think that's really why he targeted me. I was a child, and I was just trying to do my best, but I did realize that he was a bad person. But I loved him. When I meet people and love them, I love them with all of my heart, and I never let that go. I decided I wanted to break up with him because he started going through my phone, and I tried to take it away from him, and he grabbed my arm so hard he left bruises, like handprints on my arm. And after that, I decided I was going to confide in my dad. And my dad took it up with the police. We got a protective order, and he violated it, so he ended up going to jail for a week. He never blamed himself. As soon as he was out, he was already back to contacting me. He was taking medicine for schizophrenia. He would tell me that he's seen people behind him in the house, and the house was evil. There was multiple instances of abuse until it got daily. Like, I knew when he came home, he was gonna hurt me because he had a bad day at work. And then it got to the point where the physical abuse was a lot. We had been separated for around 4 months. So I started seeing someone else. And whenever he found out that I was seeing someone else, he snatched my phone out of my hand when I entered the house immediately. He accused me of cheating even though we haven't been together for 5 months. And he attacked me. He dragged me by my hair to the kitchen, and then he cut my hair. And then he would be like, oh my God, what did I do? And then do it again. The first time that I thought that Brian was gonna kill me, he attacked me over something so stupid. He laid me on the bed, he sat on my chest, and he covered my mouth and my nose, and I swear it was for minutes. And I remember trying to scream because my baby 1-year-old was standing right next to me on the bed, yelling for his mom. And it broke my heart because I never wanted my son to see anything like that. That is after I knew I had to go. So I think that's the last time that I went to his house besides my son's first birthday. When I was pregnant, he would never physically abuse me, but like, it was the mental side of it. It was not going to any appointments. It was not wanting to see sonograph pictures. Waking me up every 5 seconds when I'm trying to sleep. I mean, I'm 6 months pregnant, and he is waking me up every time I fall asleep. And I was literally like losing my mind. I woke up that morning, 21 years old. I let Brian have my son for the night. He hadn't had him for a while because he went to jail the week before for child endangerment. My son went to a daycare that I worked at. So I asked him to drop my son off at my mom's. And instead of dropping him off, I got all the way to my mom's, realized he wasn't there. I called him and everything, and he said that his car was broken and I needed to come to his house and pick up my son. I knew personally that was a horrible idea. We drove to his house. When we arrived at his house, he texted my mom and he said, is she with you? And she said, yeah, she's with me. He said, okay, come up and get the baby. She said, okay. So she gets out of the car. She walks up the stairs. Right before she goes inside, she sees him. He had jumped out the back window with his AR-15. And he said, go inside and get the baby. And my mom didn't know if the baby was alive. She went right inside to get the baby. She didn't think anything of it. He ran around the other side of the house where I was sitting in the car texting my boyfriend Jordan that I was sorry that I was there because I wasn't supposed to be there and I knew it was dangerous. And mid-text, I was shot twice. I looked up and he was about 10 feet from me. I saw him so clearly and he looked dead in his eyes. I put my hands up like this and he shot me through my hands into my face. looking at the blood on my hands and thinking, okay, because it didn't hurt. I was peaceful. I reached up and I touched my face and there was nothing there. Like, all of this was just gone. And I remember my mom running down the stairs with my son, cradling him with her whole body because she didn't want him to get hurt and we didn't know where he went. I remember thinking, oh my god, he's alive, because I didn't know if he was. Usually in these kind of situations, they hurt the children and then the mom and then themselves. And she put him in the back seat and I could hear him in the back seat. She got in the car and drove away. She talked to me, she held my hand. She made sure I knew that I was loved and that she couldn't do this without me. I blacked out. I remember seeing some stuff in the ambulance and then I remember waking up like a week later in the hospital. I remember I woke up, my mom was there. She was like, okay, I need you to take a deep breath. They couldn't save your eye. And then I remember my mom saying, he's gone. And I understood right away. And it took me a while to process the fact that he was not ever going to be the father to my son that I wanted. He's not ever going to get help. Then after that, I asked for my boyfriend Jordan first. I just wanted to see his face. And he just held my hand, and they told me everything that I had gone through. I went through 2 heart surgeries. They broke my rib to repair my lung. I have a bullet next to my spine still. My clavicle was shattered, but there was a lot more injuries. My teeth were all gone. I had a giant hole in my face that they just stuffed for a while until they could fix it. It was a long year of surgeries. So now I am a domestic violence advocate for any victim, men and women. I tattoo on the side because it makes me happy. I physically struggle with a lot of mental health issues, and it's okay to not be okay. I actually just recently checked myself last week into a mental health facility to get some help, because when you need help and you know you need help, it is the best option to just get it. For a long time I was in shock and I didn't really feel anything, and I now have a lot of PTSD. And the episodes and the panic attacks that come with it. It creates false pain and it creates panic attacks. But I'm getting better. The message that I would like to send is, get out. If you're in danger, leave. Your family is there to help you. No matter how isolated you were, they're still there. You deserve to be loved, and you don't deserve to be afraid. So me as a mother, I try to make sure that my son is taken care of and protected. I try to make sure we take care of his mental health issues. He is the smartest child I've ever met. He is everything that his dad was in a good way, and that makes me so happy. I refuse to leave my house or my room. I don't like when people take my picture or look at me, but I'm working on it. Jordan helps me with absolutely anything I need. He supports my domestic violence advocate. He doesn't get upset with me ever that I don't do much sometimes because I'm in a lot of pain. I couldn't have a better support system. I went to the hospital and I made great friends. And I feel like it's just important to make sure you have that support system. If not, I could not do this.